Hello students, I am going to discuss about heap tree in this video lecture. Till now we discussed about three different types of binary trees: binary search tree, AVL and B tree. Now we are going to discuss about a fourth type of binary tree, which is called a heap tree. A heap tree has got its own characteristics which differentiates it from the remaining trees which we have completed so far. So from this video lecture you will be able to understand what is the unique characteristics of a heap tree, how to perform insert and delete operations on a heap tree, and how to implement the heap tree, and also the applications of heap tree. So all that will be covered in this particular topic. So first we will start with the characteristics. So what differentiate the heap tree from the other trees? The heap tree can be differentiated or can be categorized like in the way that the root of a heap tree will be having the highest value in the entire tree. So in any heap tree the root contains the largest value. And the second way we can describe a heap tree is that in any particular parent child combination or any subtree, the parent will be larger than or equal to the left and right child. So it has to be at least equal to the left and right child, but cannot be less than their children. But if you just compare this with the binary search tree, in a binary search tree the parent will be greater than the left, but can be equal to or greater less than the right. That is the characteristic of binary search tree. But in a heap tree the parent will be equivalently greater than or equal to the left and right child. So that is the difference between the heap tree and the binary search tree. And another characteristic of a heap tree is that it is generally implemented using an array, though we can implement using an linked list also, but conventionally the heap tree implementation always makes use of an array. That is because there is another characteristic of a heap tree which makes it suitable for array implementation. That is, the heap tree is complete or partially complete by binary tree. So we know that a complete binary tree will have nodes in all the levels except the last level where there may be some missing leaf nodes. So in every other level the tree will be completely occupied with the nodes. So because of this nature, it is actually easier to represent the heap tree using an array. So that is the another advantage of heap tree, that it can be implemented using array without any loss of memory wastage. Because in normal binary tree, whether it is binary search tree, if you implement using a array, then you will find a lot of memory wastage because it need not be balanced. So we know that a binary search tree doesn't require to be balanced, so that's going to be having lot of memory wastage. But this particular heap tree, like a AVL tree, is always by a balanced, and it is complete or nearly complete binary tree. And here this particular diagram depicts the characteristic of a heap tree. So if k is the parent or root, then it will be either greater than or equal to both its left and right child. And now we have got this is summary, just the summary of the 2 points which we have just seen, that the tree is complete or nearly complete, and the key value of each node is greater than or equal to the key value in each of its descendants. That is, parent has to be greater than or equal to its children. And we can also construct a heap tree in the opposite order. That is, I said that the heap tree is generally in descending order. So the root will be having the highest value. But we can also reverse it, that the root may be made to have the smallest value. So in that case it is called as a min heap. And there the condition is going to be the parent has to be less than or equal to its left and right child. And this kind of a tree is called min heap. And we have some examples, but generally whenever we are referring to a heap, we are always talking about max heap. So max heap is the standard implementation which we are also going to be focusing on, but it is possible to convert it into a min heap if that particular application demands such an implementation. And we have got some examples of valid heaps. So when you have a single node, it's obviously a valid heap. And when you have a tree like this, you have to check whether the parent is greater than or equal to both its children. And since it meets this condition, we can say that this is a heap tree. Similarly, here also in all the levels, the parent is greater than both its children. So it's a valid heap tree. But on the other hand, these are classified as invalid heaps. So let us see why we are treating these as invalid. In the first example, 24 is greater than 12, so there is no issue, and then 12 is greater than 8. But here the violation is that this is not nearly complete tree. See, we should not only focus on the values which has to be in this particular order, we should also look at whether it's a complete tree or nearly complete binary tree, and that particular condition is not met. So this is invalid. And second is also the same way. So here it is this one is right over height and this is left over height. Okay, but basically both are invalid. And here in this particular case, this is a nearly complete tree, but what is missing is that value characteristic, the requirement of the root value being larger than the children, that is not maintained here. So okay, let us identify in which particular node. So here we have got 44, but its parent is having 24, and this is clearly a violation of the heap property. And in the second example, we have got 18 here, but it's a parent node having 10. So both are invalid. So by these examples, we should be able to identify whether a given tree is heap tree or not. So we must check for two requirements. One is whether the tree is either complete or nearly complete, number one. Number two, whether at every level, whether the parent is greater than or equal to both its children. Once you are given a heap tree, then we may have to perform insert and delete operations into the heap tree. But problem is that whenever you perform either insert or delete, you are likely to spoil the heap property. So that heap property may be lost after the insert or delete operation. So we have to restructure the heap tree so that it becomes a heap again. So for that we have got two algorithms. The first algorithm is called reheap up algorithm. This is useful in the case of insert, and reheap down is used in the case of deletion. So first we are going to look at the implementation of reheap up algorithm. So as I mentioned, whenever you perform insert operation, after the insert operation we need to ensure that the heap property is still preserved. So for that we have to check for using this algorithm we can check whether the heap property is there. If not, we have to modify the position of the nodes so that we make it heap again. So reheap up is for making that tree after insert once again a heap tree. And when it comes to insert operation, just like the binary search tree, here also we can only insert at the leaf level. So we cannot insert any value in the intermediate nodes. Only insert at the leaf is permitted in a heap tree. So what we have to do is that the moment we are asked to insert a new value, we have to just blindly insert it at the last node. So because the heap tree is always complete or nearly complete, so we don't need to identify the location. We just have to go to the first vacant location and put the new value into that position. And after this done, then we have to invoke the reheap up algorithm, which will verify whether the new value inserted does not violate the heap property, but if it violates, then it will reposition the new node so that it is restored, the heap property is restored. So to understand it, let us just go through this example. So in this example, we are first inserting 25 in the first vacant location. So here, this is the first vacant space in the heap tree, and so 25 is inserted here. But after inserting, we will have to check whether the insertion has not affected the heap property. But by comparing 12 with the 25, we are able to understand that it's no longer heap. So we have to do the necessary change, and that change is nothing but swapping. So we just have to swap the values of the child and the parent. So it becomes like this. But we should not end this process with this single swap. We will have to recursively do the same comparison and the swapping whenever it is required. So until this node reaches its appropriate position, this process has to be continued. So by comparing 21 with the 25, we do one more swap, and then finally we compare 25 with the 42, and we end the recursive call since it has reached the correct position. So it is now a heap again. This is actually the logic behind the algorithm that we are going to see. So here is the algorithm. So the core part of the algorithm is, after the new node is inserted into the heap tree, we have to check its value or the key with its parent key. In case if the new node's key is greater than parent key, then we have to exchange it. After exchanging, we have to recursively call the same algorithm to compare the new to compare the value with its new parent. And once again, if change is needed, then swapping will be done, and this will continue until it stops. And when it will stop is that when this condition is no longer true, that is when the new node's key value becomes less than the parent key, then recursive will end, and that is actually the base case of this particular recursive algorithm. So that is exactly what we had seen in this example. This is what the reheap up algorithm, which will be called whenever you perform insert operation. And so here there is another example to demonstrate the algorithm. So first we put the new value in the last position, and then we call the reheap up algorithm, which will compare 48 with 30, and now the condition is actually true. So new node key is greater than parent key, so it will swap. So this swap will result in 45 30 becoming like this, and since it's a recursive call, now the new parent will be compared with the child. So 48 and 32 are compared, and again it will lead to a swap, and this will continue till 48 reach the root. So this is the idea behind the algorithm. Now we are going to look at the other side, that is the delete operation. So whenever you perform delete operation, we are going to make use of the reheap down algorithm. Here the difference is that in reheap up, we were actually moving the node up, so that the last node is pushed up, but here we will be pushing down the node. So we will see how it works in the example. So here is an example. In the first tree, that is actually the heap tree, we have got 55 in the root, and I have decided to delete 55. That results in this particular tree where the root is empty, and it is obviously not a heap tree. Now we have to elect a new value into this particular position, and that is typically done by moving the last node into that position. So 10 will be copied into the root position, which leads to this modified tree. And now we have to check whether it's a heap tree. So it is not obviously a heap tree, so we have to reheapify this particular tree, and that is when we invoke the reheap down algorithm. So the logic of that algorithm is that now 10 will be compared with the 32 and 21, but before that, see the requirement here is that we have to move one of the child to the parent position, because it's clearly the parent is not having the largest value or at least equal value. So that is known, but the thing is that we can either move to the left child into the parent position or right child into the parent position. But imagine you move the left child into this position, that will lead to one more swap. So it is unnecessary process. So before we do the swapping of one of the child, we have to first identify which one of the child actually is the largest, whether it's a left child or right child. So we first compare the two children. So left and right are compared, and whichever is larger, that is being swapped with the parent. So that is what the idea. So first we compare the root with the left and right. If you find that the root is either less than the left child or the right child, then it needs to be swapped, and that swapping happens after you identify which one of the child is actually the largest. So that is the swapping. So in this given example, when you compare 21 with 32, you can easily see 32 is larger. So that gets swapped into the parent position, and you have to recursively repeat this at every level. So once again 10 and 20, 30 are compared, and this value is less than both of them, so we have to swap, and for that we have to identify the larger child among the two, and by comparing 20 and 30, we can see 30 is larger. So this is what happens when you call the reheap down algorithm. And here is another example. So now I want to delete 45. So when you delete 45, it becomes empty, and we have to replace with the last leaf node. So 19 is moved into that position. After that, you have to reheap down call the reheap down algorithm. So that happens as I explained to you. So you identify the larger child and swap it with that, and you continue to do that till the entire tree is restructured properly. And here is the algorithm which simply implements what we have just discussed. So first you have to identify the larger child, okay, that is whether left or right, whichever is larger, you first find out that, and that happens through this comparison. So you just take this is like a local variable, the left key here is a local variable. So you into that you assign the key of the left subtree. Now see, since it is not always a complete tree, it can be a nearly complete binary tree. It is possible that that particular node only has a left child but not a right child. It is possible that it may not have a right child. So you have to check. So only if there is a right child, then you have to compare the left and right to elect or to find out the larger one. But if it is having only the left child, then you just can assume the left child as the larger one. That's what is done here. So if there is a right child, then you take the right key also, else you just assume the right key to be null. So now you have got two values. One value is in the left key variable, another value is in the right key variable, and you just have to compare the two to identify the larger among the two. For that, this condition is used. By comparing the two, you just choose the larger value and assign it into the variable called the large subtree. So now you know which value is larger, and finally you compare the root with that particular large key value. So it can be either left child or right child, but it is guaranteed to be the larger one, and this comparison may result in exchanging of the parent and the child, or it may just be ignored. And if it is needs to be exchanged, then the recursive call will be made again, and it will continue until the node position in its correct order.